Namaskar. Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. This is Saturday, 10 p.m. Sree Iyer time, and we're going to talk about 3 or 4 important topics. The first one, of course, about Zelensky, Ukraine, Russia, US, UK, EU, the whole thing. There are some unsaid things. We left some things in the previous session. We're going to cover that and more, and also a perspective of this whole thing from an Indian viewpoint. All that and more with 𝗥𝗘𝗙𝗥𝗏 ji. Let's welcome him. 𝗥𝗘𝗙 ji, namaskar and welcome to PGurus channel. How are you, sir?
Namaskar, Sree ji, namaskar. I mean, our viewers have been subjected to several talk shows on what happened in the Oval Office of the White House. They would think that this is going to be yet one more, probably they know the details of that outburst and how it happened, how it started, and full before the media, and that too worldwide. And even many of us who do not understand the intricacies of diplomacy would know that these things don't just happen. I mean, one thing is clear, these things just don't happen. There have been summits where leaders have parted ways without any agreement. This has happened before. But then this is completely, taken everyone back, because a lot of homework would have gone into Zelensky landing up in Washington, meeting Trump, and then they were about to ink a deal on the exploitation of minerals, particularly some very heavy metals which have a lot of commercial value, from which funds would be generated for reconstruction of Ukraine. And we were told there were negotiations where initially Trump was pegging it at $500 billion, then it came down to $350 billion that America would try to take, and 50% of what Ukraine would get would be used for reconstruction. I mean, several formulas were talked about. I mean, it all looked an ideal situation, and Trump was making it very clear that he was using his chemistry with Putin to see that the war ceases immediately. I mean, the war should end. That was Trump's thing. And of course, Zelensky has been, I mean, I have never seen a leader of a country with the country which has suffered so much of devastation, which people living in camps, people having left their towns and cities, still, talking of a war as a final solution, a war that will put down Russia. Sir, no war ever, achieves its objectives, because we all know that it generates so much of negativity, so much of loss, human suffering. And finally, you both end up losers, whoever thinks he's a winner or a loser. But this was a very strange situation where, I mean, for us in India, we just recall President's meeting with Putin. I mean, our Prime Minister Modi, when he went to Moscow first, before he traveled to Ukraine to meet Zelensky, you remember the first reactions that Zelensky had for Modi's meeting with Putin? When India was one of the parties, this is soon after the G20 summit in India, where India, Prime Minister Modi said he's willing to talk to both of them, since India also has that kind of access with President Putin, and President Putin and Prime Minister Modi have a good rapport, and because India also wants the war to end. And when Prime Minister Modi traveled to Moscow and Putin hosted him in his dacha, as they call it, I mean his home away from Moscow, Zelensky was so upset. Zelensky immediately tweeted saying, "What is this India's greatest leader from a biggest democracy he is doing with a dictator, with the Putin?" And after some time, Prime Minister carried a word from Putin to Zelensky. And in interactions with Trump had with Prime Minister Modi, all these aspects came up, where Prime Minister gave his impression of what had happened and what could be the way forward. Because the whole idea was to break the ice, see that somehow, some chemistry is formed. And Trump was willing to invest his personal worth in this. And of course, he wanted to show that his leadership and return to the presidency is changing things. And this whole US-Ukraine deal, the mineral deal, was supposed to be, way forward. Because after all, America has spent, several billion dollars. One figure was something like $170 billion they have spent, pumping money there. So this formula was seen as, look, well, things are happening. But I think somewhere, from whatever we have seen, that 40-minute thing that was going on, and I can't see, normally, sir, media comes, the initial pleasantries are exchanged and the media withdraws. Then the leaders get into the nitty-gritties and then whatever they have to sign, then the media is called for the final thing. But here it was that introductory thing, and which was getting too long. And President Trump was very, very courteous to President Zelensky initially. If you look at the whole thing, Trump was praising him. But when it came to saying that, look, I will speak to President Putin and the war will cease and all, then Zelensky took off like a rocket, saying that how can we believe his word? There has to be a security gap. Now, these things are never discussed before media, sir. The media glare. This is not done anywhere in any capital, Western or Eastern or anywhere. So it was, of course, we know both the leaders have very unconventional way of, expressing themselves, and they speak what they think. And President Trump has brought a complete style because he doesn't believe in, wordplay or weaving words. He says what he means. So, but then couldn't have Zelensky not messed it up by being little more patient? And sir, after this episode, which has gone live and which has taken everybody surprised, and on the front pages of all the newspapers in India, whether it is English or language publications, now there are a lot of jokes going around saying that Russia has agreed to intervene between Trump and Zelensky. And then another says Modi is ready to intervene. A lot of memes and all these have started now. That shows, can international diplomacy be reduced to this, what we see, clowns? Now, there are people who don't like Trump, who don't like the fact that Trump has returned to the White House, and a lot of things have undergone change. Several paradigm shifts have happened. And they are the people who are saying, no, Trump insulted Zelensky, he shouldn't have spoken to him like that. And there are some who feel that Zelensky, instead of being part of the solution, he has more and more become a part of the problem. And why does he want the war to linger on? When the Trump says that I can stop it, and I've already spoken to Putin, and there has been one meeting between the US Secretary of State and Russian minister, the foreign minister,
Lavrov
in Saudi Arabia. Already one round has happened. So somewhere, some guarantees, some assurance have come. But Zelensky was not, he wanted it more, or probably he was committing. Sir, I am reminded, more I see Zelensky, I am reminded of 𝗟𝗡𝗙𝗪𝗀𝗀𝗍𝒑𝗏.
Same school, sir.
And some people tell me, look, this is what happens when NGOs, come to power. And sir, now, after all, Zelensky played into the American deep state plans. Forget the intricacies of the conflict between Russia and America and Europe and all that. The basic thing was, perhaps things would not have come to such a pass if some people were not very keen. Some people, the US deep establishment, didn't want NATO to be expanded. And they wanted to somehow see that Russia is encircled by NATO allies. And Putin had made it very clear to the Ukrainian leaders that do not bring NATO troops into Ukraine, and Ukraine should not become a NATO member. Rather, it stays as a buffer, like there are other countries in Europe who are not part of NATO. And then there was a leadership change. Then Zelensky was propped up. People say that Zelensky, then he suddenly became popular. He was a stand-up comedian. And then throughout the war, he built an image of himself as a person who is really fighting for Ukraine, for the people of Ukraine. And his signature dress, I mean, always seen in battle fatigues, were seen as somebody very committed. I mean, people did appreciate the fact that Ukraine was, bearing the brunt of Russian. And then when arms started reaching from Europe and America and other countries, in terms of sophisticated weaponry, then we saw Russians also taking the hit. A lot of Russian troops. So the war had reached a stage, or rather, it has already reached a stage where I think both in Moscow and in Ukraine, the feeling is, look, let's have a ceasefire. Now, if you have a ceasefire, the next question is, how do you repair the damage? So now in India, what we are seeing is, look, there is a new dimension emerging. That is, what will be going to be the role of Europe in particular with a Trump-led America, and this new equations between Trump and Russia under Putin. And coincidentally, sir, all this has happened on a day when the European Union Commission President was here. Ursula was here, and they talked about Ukraine. And of course, the major theme was how India and the European Union can reach a trade agreement. But definitely, Ukraine was on the top of the agenda. And so from Indian point of view, we are looking at it, how the Europe is going to respond. Well, on March 6th, there's going to be a meeting of all the European leaders, and to see how they should respond to what they see as Trump pushing an agenda, some kind of a peace agreement, so the war stops. And there are leaders like Denmark PM who has said, look, he has come out in the support of Zelensky, saying just war ending is not the solution. But the war must end, but there have to be security guarantees, echoing the Zelensky line. Now, from what Zelensky says is, one does not fault him because of the experience he and his countrymen have gone through. That a ceasefire without security guarantee is dangerous for Ukraine, because then he has listed number of times they were close to an agreement, how many times Putin has violated. And that's what he was trying to explain. And then, sir, day after this, now today what has happened is Zelensky has been saying sorry and expressing gratitude. Some people have counted that since yesterday's White House, he has expressed gratitude 33 times to America. What is the role they have played? And everybody thinks, can the pieces be picked up? Can things be resumed? Of course, Trump's first response today is that he can't meet him immediately. Though Zelensky may be eager, because today Zelensky has been tweeting saying that he's ready for that mineral deal. Now, everybody says you could have, gone through that, be a little patient, and you could have expressed all that. And somebody is even suggesting that Zelensky should have met Trump with the Ukraine's highest award, saying that Ukraine wants to give a big award to Trump. And it wants to express gratitude to Trump. He could have started with pumping Trump's ego, and then he could have extracted some more. There are a lot of suggestions coming, sir, how Zelensky could have turned this to his advantage. Speaking. And in fact, I heard Fareed Zakaria saying that he should have gone with the award, the highest award, kind of a civilian award from Ukraine, presented to Trump, and said, look, and in front of it said that the Ukraine expressed the deepest gratitude. And what probably irritated Trump was, Zelensky insisting that with America on his side, we'll have a better, negotiation, better advantage. What Trump wanted to say was, look, I want to end the war. There is no question of further advantage. We want to end the war. We want to end our, we are spending billions of dollars. So when do we recover, and when do you recover from this war? Sir, but some people are reading other things. Look, right from beginning, Zelensky played into the American establishment interest, and he became a kind of a person who was furthering the American interest there in Europe. And then he finally gets treated like this. I don't think any leader has been treated in this way, but then people say he invited it. But Zelensky, who has faced so much, and I'm told, in fact, today I heard Mike Waltz, National Security Advisor, who went and conveyed to Zelensky after this press conference got over. We are told Zelensky retired to his room there in the White House, just as Trump retired to his office. And then Trump and his advisors had a chat, and then US NSA, Mike Waltz, was asked by the Trump to convey the message. And Waltz went to Zelensky and told him, look, it's over. I don't think we could have any further discussion, and he can leave. This hard message was given by Waltz and as well as US Secretary of State to convey to Zelensky that there will be no more waiting, because after this appearance before the media, they were supposed to go and have more discussion and then sign an agreement, the minerals agreement. That did not happen. Now, when you get to hear all this, I can't think a leader like Modi or anyone would get into this kind of a public spec. And then people say, and people are questioning, what did the US Vice President do, Vance do? But then people are not only looking at that particular part of that whole thing, because the whole thing is there, is available to us. That 40-minute thing, how gradually, and 40-minute media has got full leave. I think it was too long for when two leaders were meeting. And the 40 minutes thing, sir, it is the last part where this whole thing starts. And I think if our viewers are interested, our editor Sachin would perhaps pull it out and show it to us, how it went.
You see the hatred he's got for Putin. It's very tough for me to make a deal with that kind of hate. He's got tremendous hatred. And I understand that, but I can tell you the other side isn't exactly in love with, him either. So it's not a question of alignment. I'm aligned with the world. I want to get the thing set. I'm aligned with Europe. I want to see if we can get this thing done. You want me to be tough? I could be tougher than any human being you've ever seen. I'd be so tough. But you're never going to get a deal that way. So that's the way it goes. One more question.
Hey, I would respond to this. So look, for 4 years in the United States of America, we had a president who stood up at press conferences and talked tough about Vladimir Putin, and then Putin invaded Ukraine and destroyed a significant chunk of the country. The path to peace and the path to prosperity is maybe engaging in diplomacy. We tried the pathway of Joe Biden of thumping our chest and pretending that the president of the United States' words mattered more than the president of the United States' actions. What makes America a good country is America engaging in diplomacy. That's what President Trump is doing.
Can I ask you?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So he occupied our parts, big parts of Ukraine, part of East and Crimea. So he occupied it on 2014. So during a lot of years, so I'm not speaking about just Biden, but those time was Obama, then President Obama, then President Trump, then President Biden, now President Trump, and God bless, now President Trump will stop him. But during 2014, nobody stopped him. He just occupied and took. He killed people. You know what the contact was?
2015.
2014.
2014 and 2014.
Yeah. So
I was not here.
Yeah, but
That's exactly right.
Yes, but during 2014 till 2022, the situation the same. The people have been dying on the contact line. Nobody stopped him. You know that we had conversations with him, a lot of conversations, my bilateral conversation, and we signed with him, me, like a new president. In 2019, I signed with him the deal. I signed with him, Macron and Merkel, we signed ceasefire. Ceasefire. All of them told me that he will never go. We signed him with gas contract. Yes, but after that, he broken this ceasefire. He killed our people, and he didn't exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring it into this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Come once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military?
have problems.
And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
You don't
God
know
bless. You will not have war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that.
That's exactly what you're doing.
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very good.
Feel influence.
We're going to feel very good and very strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having
Not playing
cards.
cards.
Right now, you don't
I'm
play
serious,
cards.
Mr. President.
You're
I'm
playing
very
cards.
serious.
You're gambling
I'm
with
the
the
president
lives of
of war.
millions of people.
You think
You're
you-
gambling with World War III.
What do you think
You're
about-
gambling with World War III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country,
I'm
that's
with
back to
respect to
you.
you.
Far more than a lot of people said
Where
they
is
should have.
Have you said thank you once? This
A lot
entire
of
meeting?
times.
No, in this
Even
entire
today.
meeting, you said thank
Even
you.
today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of America and the president who's trying to save your country.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war, you
He's
can...
not speaking loudly. He's not speaking loudly. Your country's in big
Can-
trouble.
Can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No,
Can
you've
I
done a
answer?
lot of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not winning.
know.
You're not winning this. You have a damn good chance of coming out okay because of
Mr.
us.
President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks.
You haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet.
You haven't been alone.
In this
We
cabinet.
gave you, through
I
this
said
stupid
thank
president, $350 billion.
You voted
We gave
for
you
your
military equipment,
You
and your
voted
men
for
are brave, but they had to use our military.
What about West?
If you didn't have
You
our
invited
military
me.
equipment,
You invited
if
me
you
to
didn't have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3
okay?
days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days, this is something.
Maybe less.
In 2 weeks, of course, yes.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this. I tell you.
You say thank you.
I said a lot of times
Accept
to American people.
Accept that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think it's good for the American people to see what's going on.
I understand, sir.
I think it's very important. That's why I kept this going so long. You have to be thankful. You don't have the cards.
Thankful.
You're buried there. Your people are dying.
Tell you,
You're running low
I know.
on soldiers.
Don't
You're
please,
running
Mr.
low on soldiers. It would be a damn good thing.
Mr.
And then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go and I want this. Look, if you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting killed.
Of course, we want to stop the war.
But I'm saying you don't want a
But I
ceasefire.
said to you,
I want a
with
ceasefire
guarantees.
because you'll get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefire, what they think.
That wasn't
Doesn't
with
matter
me.
for you what-
That wasn't with me.
It
That was with
wasn't
a guy named Biden, who was not a smart person.
This
That
is
was
your,
with,
this
that was
is
with
your president.
Obama.
It was your president.
Excuse me. That was with Obama, who gave you sheets, and I gave you javelins.
Yes.
I gave you the javelins to take out all those tanks. Obama gave you sheets. In fact, the statement is Obama gave sheets and Trump gave javelins. You got to be more thankful, because let me tell you, you don't have the cards. With us, you have the cards. But without us, you don't have any cards.
One more question to Mr. Vice President. I'm sorry.
It's going to be a tough deal to make because the attitudes have to change.
Again, viewers, don't just look at this portion where there is a lot of pushback from the American side. You have to listen to the entire 40+ minute conversation. It's out on social media. We will try and put the link in this one. See, I had one, the moment it broke out, Shekhar-ji, I immediately did a program, a monologue on PGurus, where I was trying to connect all these things together. I have given the complete link there. No worries. We'll give it to you here also. You have to listen to this 45-50 minutes because, listen, this is very much an indication that there could be a world war just around the corner, and that is the takeaway there. Yes, you have lost it. What to do? You don't have people to fight. Maybe Russia doesn't have either, but Russia has land. Sir, you look at history. Napoleon, Hitler, they allowed them to come in deep into Russian territory, and then they attacked. Sir, Napoleon goes to Moscow and he sees the palaces all empty. What the hell is going on? Come out. I want to talk to you. Nobody's there because there is so much land that the people have, this was still the Tsars. They went out to the countryside, waited him out. Then winter came. Supply lines got broken down. They came back a fraction of what they went in, the French. And the same thing happened to Hitler. 100 years later, almost 100 years later, or 120 something. The point I'm trying to make is Russia is difficult to defeat if you go and invade them. And in this case, people, you have to go back and look at many other videos where people are very dispassionate and objective. They look at what happened since World War II. February 7th to February 14th, 1945, there was a place called Levadia Palace, interestingly in Crimea, of all places, where Roosevelt, Churchill, and Stalin met. Many of us think that the World War II was won by the Allies troops on the Western Front. Not true. 2/3 of the German army was fighting the Russians because the Germans had gone and occupied what is modern-day Eastern Europe, all those countries. They just overran them. They just gone. Blitzkrieg is what they used to call themselves. And that is where every inch was fought by the Russians. That's why when they came to Berlin and occupied them, they were already a big country. Essentially what happened was there were independent countries, then Germany invaded them and occupied them. After 2 years, the Germans were driven out and it was completely left open for what became USSR. So there's a lot of history here. Take a look at it, take a deep breath, and let's hope that, you know, all these hotheads cool down and try to make a deal. This is not easy. And there is a perfectly good explanation as to why Ukraine and EU were not at the table when Russia and US were talking in Saudi Arabia. This is all backstory now that is coming in, that Keir Starmer had signed a 100-year deal with Zelensky for the same things that he's now trying to sign with US. See, this is the point there. Everybody's ticked off with Zelensky. And for the same reason, they also excluded EU. They said, these guys have their own agenda. And we are the ones paying the money. This is US perspective, okay? We are the ones footing the bill for this. And these people want everything. They've already signed a deal with Ukraine, wherein it is believed in that 100-year deal that UK will give the security for Ukraine. They'll control all the inbound and outbound trade from ports, airports, everything. And they have also access to all the gas and crude that is producible by Ukraine. Basically, they left out the word minerals, I think, but it is implied. If you don't allow, if you control all the egresses and ingresses, then how is anybody going to be able to extract minerals out? So there is more going on here than meets the eye, viewers. We will keep you posted on the updates, but it's important for us to build a perspective on this. Go back. You know, these are all history lessons. Go back to, you know, Second World War. It has been going on for a long time. All this stuff around Ukraine. Sir,
I just wanted to add one more point. You see, Putin, Trump was always trying to make that point to his domestic audience how
Yeah.
Biden had messed it up. And
Right.
he was trying to say, look, this is what Biden did, this is what Biden didn't do, and how things got more messier and messier. This is the point he has said. And the second thing that has always been rankling Trump was the charge that was made in the previous election that Russians were involved in the elections, US interference, and
Right.
somehow it helped with Trump. And that is why he was saying, look, so many things were said about Putin, and that was not true about Putin because they had not done anything. And sir, now and Zelensky should have avoided getting into this Biden-Trump business. See, Biden was there so long as he was president. Now Biden is gone. World leaders have to deal with their counterparts. If the new ones come and the older ones with whom they had a better rapport are gone after elections or for other reasons. And somewhere along, I felt that Zelensky need not have got into this, Trump-Biden thing. Because Trump was making a point. I mean, just to hear it, okay. I mean, I think this is again shows, but then it also reveals that today leaders like Zelensky, because by our own, if we were to go by the leaders we have had as our prime ministers or foreign ministers or defense ministers, in terms of maturity, in terms of understanding, and overall restraint. So the biggest thing in diplomacy is the power of restraint. Then Zelensky looks completely juvenile. I mean, we have seen much more complicated negotiations that have gone between countries. Sir, even if today Nawaz Sharif and Modi were to meet, it would not be like this. Even with the countries like, and we have seen several meetings between Modi and Xi Jinping, despite the border standoff.
Right.
What is called the by the side of the pool kind of talks at multilateral summits, poolside talk. So this all only goes to show, as the quality of leadership changes, and one can see the kind of problems that are bringing. No longer the old the rules of diplomacy works here, because diplomacy is all about ensuring that you do straight talking inside within I would say in a closed environment, and when you come out you are all smiling and say the great things have been achieved. Because sir, there was a lot of hope built up on this meeting. When I'm saying hope, India has also an interest that the conflicts end early, because this will bring about a stabilization in the energy prices, as well as and Ukraine war has been a matter of concern for the Indian government because of its impact on various sectors of economy, on the global economy, and consequently how we should respond. Sir, I remember in the preparation of this year's budget too, in the finance ministry, there was a lot of discussions about how the Ukraine war would move. And how do we have to prepare for if things get worse, and how do we deal with it? In fact, in India, we were looking forward for some kind of a breakthrough. Because our concern is that energy prices must stabilize. And overall, and after all, sir, Ukraine was also, buying a lot of stuff from us. And we were buying a lot of stuff from them. And Ukraine was also largest exporter of wheat. So in terms of, when India takes a view on this, we also look at it in terms of, the food availability, global other issues, tackling poverty at international level. We have seen the kind of statements that were made at G20. Now, all these things are subject to this. Anyway, so this is the whole question is.
अभी picture बाकी है. There is still more.
The picture बाकी है, लेकिन ये picture ठीक रही है. Sir.
Very true, sir. Now let's move on to the next one. What is next for Yogi Adityanath after this triumphant conduct of Mahakumbh? Over to you, Shekhar-ji. And the last one is the most interesting one about the politics of Congress. We'll come to that after this. We're going to kind of pick up the pace a little bit because we have a lot of questions from you we would like to answer. With time permitting, Shekhar-ji, we can do a little bit more, maybe 5-10 minutes more than the 1 hour limit that we normally keep for ourselves. Over to you, sir.
Right, sir. Sir, the Mahakumbh has ended. It was a fantastic, I would say, a phenomenon. I'm not calling it an event, I'm calling it a phenomenon. And if you look at the terms of figures that have been given as to how many people actually turned up at Prayagraj, people are saying it's about 66 point some 37 or 57 crore people. I mean, that's a huge number. And some people are, of course, there are skeptics who ask, how did these people come? Did railways actually carry so many people? Whether did they travel by, did they come on cars? But one thing was clear, there was huge crowds coming. Skeptics have always questioned everything, so one is not surprised. But also the important part is the government has also spent about 7,000 to 8,000 crores or even more than that. And in terms of economy generated, Chief Minister Yogi has been talking about this is generated up to 3 lakh crores. So there's a lot of economy generated, and our chief economic advisor has made a note of what is the kind of economy generated by Mahakumbh and how it will get reflected when we look at figures for the current fiscal. So it's a phenomenal thing that has happened, and so much of business, local boost for the economy, from tour operators, from the hospitality industry, so many things have happened. And then the crowds that came there, the devotees who took the holy dip, from there they went to Kashi, they have gone to Ayodhya, had a darshan of Ram Lala. So many things have happened. Now, Yogi has now realized that Uttar Pradesh has a scope for spiritual tourism, which has a lot of spin-offs in terms of boost for the services sector, hospitality sector. In fact, he has announced 5 newly developed corridors. In fact, soon after this Mahakumbh, he has set 5 new corridors that will actually trigger more interest in the religious places in Uttar Pradesh. And because he says Mahakumbh has opened up new possibilities, and his government would like to keep the momentum going for economic reasons. People will tend to think, oh, this is all about Hindutva, and they want to keep the Hindu fervor going. No, for the sake of economy, and as well as to makes it facilitate the people who know about these places, so that he has talked of 5 major spiritual corridors in Uttar Pradesh. So one is from Prayagraj to Vindhyachal Kashi corridor. Now, Prayagraj, the Sangam, Triveni Sangam, and Vindhyachal, we know this is Vindhyachal, there is a Devi shrine, which is very, very important. And so Vindhyavasini, so the Vindhyachal is a very important thing. So he has talked about Prayag, Vindhyachal, Kashi corridor. Basically, this is devotees will go from Prayagraj to Vindhyachal, Devi Dham, then to Varanasi. This is seen as some kind of a Shakti, Shiva Shakti worship or Shiva Parvati kind of a worship. So this is one corridor. The second corridor Yogi has announced is from Prayagraj, you go to Ayodhya, like many people have done this time, and then go to Gorakhpur, which is the home constituency of Yogi. Now here, this is a corridor that will link the 2 important pilgrimage sites, that of Ramlala and Gorakhnath, which is the Nath Sampradaya, and Gorakhnath is actually seen as the Adi Yogi. So this is another corridor that is being talked about. And the other corridor is Prayagraj, Lucknow, and Naimisharanya corridor. This Naimisharanya is considered to be one of the 88 Mahatirth centers, where we are told this particular thing is about Lord Brahma, Lord Vishnu, and as well as Sati. So this is also very important corridor. And the 4th corridor that Yogi has announced is Prayagraj to Rajapur, and from Rajapur to Chitrakoot. Now, Chitrakoot is in the border between Madhya Pradesh and Uttar Pradesh. Chitrakoot is the place where the Purushottam Ram went into exile. And that famous story where, rather the conversation between Purushottam Ram and the boatmen, it's a very allegorical, I would say, conversation between, which has a very deeper meaning. And for our viewers, just a brief recall, where the boatman helps them to cross the river as they go into the forest. So, since Purushottam Ram wanted to pay the boatmen, the Nai, a fee for transporting them, he asked Sita to give the ring she is wearing, and she gives the ring as a contribution as a fee for taking them across. The boatman refuses to shake, and this has come out in several bhajans. And the boatman says, no, jaat ko jaat mat bigadiye aap. And Lord Ram asks, how is my jaat and your jaat same? I am a Kshatriya, you are a boatman, you are a Nishat community. And then the beautiful reply that the boatman gives is, look, both of us are doing the same job. I am helping people cross this river, but you are helping millions of people cross the samsara from beyond life and death. And it's a very beautifully sung by many people, including Anup Jalota has also rendered this in a very beautiful way, conveying that how that this life is a kind of a transient phase. So this particular corridor, this basically, this corridor is it will connect people through these places from Prayagraj to Rajapur to Chitrakoot. Now, Rajapur, sir, our viewers will recall, is the birthplace of Goswami Tulsidas. So people can go there also, and then the birthplace of Goswami is also highly revered place, highly sanctified place, so people can go there. And the last corridor, the fifth corridor that Yogi has in mind is from Prayagraj to Mathura Vrindavan corridor, and from there to Shukracharya. There is a center for Shukracharya. Shukracharya is considered a Maharishi. Now, this particular belt is via the Bundelkhand Express, which they have, there is a Bundelkhand Express highway where they can easily reach. So, from Prayagraj to Vrindavan, connecting Prayagraj and, the land of the Krishna. So, this is and of course, everybody will be amazed by the fact that, Maharishi Shukracharya also has got a Tirth center. So these are the ideas that Yogi is looking at, because this Prayagraj, this Mahakumbh in Prayagraj is also about infrastructure development. So many connecting highways, expansion. And sir, we just had a statistics about the number of flights handled by an airport in Allahabad, that is Prayagraj. I mean, they have handled 768 flights on a day. I mean, you can imagine a small airport with a very small terminal, but handling more than 700 flights. This goes to show how speedily a lot of infrastructure development has happened. So Yogi is not resting on his laurels after this Mahakumbh. He is planning big. He wants more things to happen. And sir, already all the major centers, whether it is relating to the birthplace of Sita or relating to or Buddhist tourist circuit, all these places are giving a boost, because the Prime Minister Modi has himself said it several times that we need to create religious tourism, spiritual tourism. And already, sir, Uttarakhand has been doing a lot in this. Every year they have Yoga festival where all yoga or yoga teachers come, and it's a retreat in Rishikesh and other places, because this generates a kind of income for the local population, because there is a local economy involved. So these are the things that Yogi has started, and people are happy about it, because he was there soon after the Mahakumbh, they got it over. And the place that was crowded for so many days, for more than 40-45 days, and just a day after that, it was all desolate. There was nobody, excepting the sanitation workers with whom Yogi spent some time. There were 15,000 sanitation workers, and that the place needed to be cleaned up further. I mean, this goes to show that Yogi has, he has a plan in mind. He is not just doing one thing and leaving it dead, and then, no, not like that. Once something is completed, and start of the next. Learning lessons from Mahakumbh. There were some unfortunate incidents. both at the New Delhi railway station and as well as at Prayagraj. There were crowd pressure. Some people lost their lives. So some lessons have also been learned how to handle them. Now, with the pluses and minuses, I think Yogi is looking at this in terms of, these corridors will be there. So people will, do this. Like people, once in lifetime, they do that. They go to Rameshwaram. From Rameshwaram, they go to Gaya. From Gaya to Varanasi. And from Varanasi, they bring water to Rameshwaram. Those who are in that circuit to pay homage to their Pitrus, to their forefathers, they undertake this. So similarly, new 5 corridors within Uttar Pradesh. So over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Shekhar-ji. A lot to digest there. And incidentally, there was one comment I picked up, Mr. Kannan Ramswamy, a very good friend of mine. And he helped us do some videos where he did all the research. One of them is on Shukracharya. And this video on Shukracharya has really gone viral. Viewers, if you have not seen it, it's available in 3 languages, Hindi, English, and Tamil. And do watch it, because there's much about Shukracharya that we don't know, and his context to the modern day religions and politics. All that stuff in that very fascinating thing. Thank you, Kannanji. We hope to, draw upon your research and do even more compelling narratives. Shekhar-ji, let's now talk about the most interesting politics now. Congress and Shashi Tharoor, easy out, in looking out, is Shiv-Kumar in looking out. I had put together a small shorts about 3 months ago, sir, 3 months ago. And now news is percolating that Mallikarjun Kharge will be eased out of the president's seat and be made the chief minister of Karnataka, and Priyanka is going to ascend the chair as the president of. This is a premise I'm going to put forth for you, sir. Tell me what you think. We can go all the videos, you do all this stuff, and finally I will show you the 1-minute shorts that I had compiled, because it's got the essence of all these things that I predicted will happen 3 months ago. I feel pretty good about my prediction. Sir, over to you.
Well, sir, you cannot disturb Siddaramaiah, sir. And if anybody has realized it in full, that is DK Shiv-Kumar. That's why he decided that the High Command will not be able to enforce the agreement that was reached, that on completion of 2 years, that is in November of this year, November 16th to be precise, that Siddaramaiah will step down and DK Shiv-Kumar will become CM. This was a kind of an agreement that was made in 2023 November. But DK Shiv-Kumar feels High Command is in no mood to enforce it for a simple reason. Siddaramaiah has made it very clear. If he is disturbed, then the Congress government collapses. He'll walk away with his MLAs.
And he showed it once too.
So therefore, it is very clear to them that there will be no change. Now, other thing is happening which is upsetting DK Shiv-Kumar. DK Shiv-Kumar was in Delhi the other day to invite all the senior leaders to come over to Bengaluru for inauguration of the new Congress Bhavan, which is on the Racecourse Road. A new Bhavan, yes. And as PCC chief, because he remains a PCC chief, Pradesh Congress Committee Adhyaksh. And they are also building similar party offices in 100 places. 100 Congress Bhavans are coming up all over Karnataka. And DK Shiv-Kumar is leading that project. So he has conveyed, because Siddaramaiah, in order to stave off pressure from supporters of DK Shiv-Kumar, he has been saying that why should DK Shiv-Kumar remain as PCC chief? The agreement was that he will be there till Lok Sabha elections. That is over now. So his people have been, saying that he should go. Now, seeing this tussle, and also DK Shiv-Kumar has got post of PCC chief, and he has 2 very, very juicy portfolios, which we in the Delhi call it Malaidar portfolios. And one is the Bengaluru urban development, and other is irrigation. So the supporters are saying he is PCC chief, he has these 2 portfolios, at least he should shed the portfolios. Whereas he has conveyed that he wants to remain PCC chief and remain deputy CM. But when he found that the Congress High Command, which is the euphemism for the family, They take his help from Bharat Jodo Yatra to Bharat Jodo Yatra for whenever Congress has required. For funds like moving ATM, Shiv Kumar has come to help. Sir, but this time what has happened is, he made it a point to go to Mahakumbh, had a holy dip, and then came back to Bangalore and said arrangements were excellent.
Let's take a look at that video. Let's take a look at that video.
There he is offering his prayers. And after that, very happy, very satisfied, that as a kind of a mission accomplished. And then when he returned to Bengaluru, he told press people, he says, look, I am a Hindu. I remain a Hindu. What is that? Because Mallikarjun Kharge said, what will happen if you go to Kumbh? Will the poverty be removed? Will the poverty be solved? Again and again questioning the Asmita, the pride of Hindu Sanatan, essence. So that's why he made it a point saying, look, excellent, I am a Hindu, I believe in this. Let's see here inside.
Yeah.
See there, he says, look, I do not believe in the caste and anything. I believe in Hinduism. There is no way in that. But definitely by praising the arrangements in Mahakumbh, he has conveyed a message to Rahul Gandhi that he is not following his line. And now I am told that the signals have been sent, look, don't, here we hear him. Sir.
Yeah.
So today is the last day of Mahakumbh, sir. You went there. What was your experience?
See, my experience was very good. Number one, I appreciated the organization which they had done. It is a not small job. Whatever may be, ಅಷ್ಟು ಜನಕ್ಕೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಕೆಲವು ಒಂದು ಎರಡು ತೊಂದರೆಗಳು ಆಗ್ಬೋದು, ಟ್ರೈನ್ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ತೊಂದರೆ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು, ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು. ನಾನು ಅದೆಲ್ಲ I don't like to find faults, but it is satisfaction, one satisfaction. ಈ ಭಕ್ತರು ಭಗವಂತ ಕೆಲವರು ನೇರವಾಗಿ ಪ್ರೇ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಕೆಲವರು ಪೂಜಾರಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. 𝗟𝗜𝗡𝗥𝗙 ಪ್ರಭಾವೇನ ಶಿಲಾದ್ಭವತಿ ಶಂಕರ. ಅರ್ಚಕನ ಪ್ರಭಾವದಿಂದ ಶಿಲೆಯಲ್ಲೂ ಶಂಕರ ಕಾಣುವಂತ ಮಧ್ಯ ದೇವರಾಗಿ ನಾನು ಅವರೇ ಪೂಜೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಕೆಲವರು ಪೂಜಾರಿ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ.
Part of it is in Kannada, and I apologize for the quality of the audio level is a little bit lower, viewers. But essentially, sir, you captured this essence. Yeah.
Sir, he is saying what is there. I mean, it's a great thing that is happening there. I don't want to find faults. I'm not, going to be petty on this occasion. This is a grand thing has happened. They have made very good arrangements. Lot of efforts has gone in. Now this flies in the face of what Congress has been saying. Rahul Gandhi himself has been tweeting. And Rahul Gandhi ignored advice from his sister, Priyanka Gandhi. I was told that she had suggested to him why. See, Sir Akhilesh Yadav criticized Yogi for Mahakumbh, but went and had a dip. Because for posterity, he didn't want to be that he had boycotted Mahakumbh. He didn't want that. Akhilesh Yadav is a politician with ear to the UP ground. He did skip it. And other leaders, Sir Didvilajay Singh went. Ajay Rai, Uttar Pradesh Congress leader, chief, he went. Your Sachin Pilot went, sir. Abhishek Manu Singhvi went. And some people even put pictures of him almost looking in special costumes, saffron colored costumes from Mahakumbh. So the message is coming. Sir, but what has added great suspicion is he landing up at Isha Foundation near Coimbatore for Shivratri.
Sir, before we do that, before we go to Isha Foundation, I wanted to play one small video clip of what I thought was going to happen, and more or less things are lining up the same way. Yeah, here you go. ये क्या हैरानी है भाई, ये क्या परेशानी है? सिद्धू सामने से मार रहा, शिवू पीछे से मार रहा. अब तुम लोग जाके पेसीएम बोल के सत्ते में तो आ गए, लेकिन अब लोग पूछ रहे भाई हमको तो तुम लोग एटीएम बना रहे, हर चीज के लिए ज्यादा भाव लगाओ, और मैं ये सुन रहा हूँ पेसीएम 40% ले रहे थे वो लोग बीजेपी वाले, अब तुम्हारे लोग जाके 50% ले रहे कहते। अब ये आहिंदा वाले यानी कि सिद्धू वाले इतना पैसा लेके कहाँ कर रहे हैं भाई। ऊपर से देखो तुम्हारे बेटे को प्रियंको को क्या दिए, उसको आईटी मिनिस्ट्री दिए, कौन मलाई दे सकता वहां पर। एमएनसी वाले ना 24 घंटे इलेक्ट्रिसिटी लेके 28 घंटे को पूछते, और ऊपर से मलाई भी नहीं मिलता, रूल पूछते। अब कहाँ का भाई, कुछ तो करो, अब कुछ तो बदलाव करो। अपना बेटा कब बनेगा भाई सीएम। अब ऊपर से देखो, अब सिद्धू बोल रहा मेरा अहिंदा है, अहिंदा क्या है किसको भी नहीं मालूम, लेकिन सब लोग जाके उसको वोट डाल रहे। अब शिवू बोल रहा वो कलिगा मेरा है, उन्हें जाके देवगौड़ा का एक बेटे को तो खत्म कर दिया वो सेक्स टेप ये वो करके, अब दूसरे को क्या करता किसको मालूम। लेकिन इन्हें सोच रहा मेरा ये 9% मेरे पास है, वो कलिगा का वोट मेरे पास है, उन्हें ऐसा सोच रहा। अब तुम्हारे लिए क्या है भाई, दलितों का वोट अभिंदा से कब निकालोगे वहां से, किसको मालूम कहां जाएंगे। ऊपर से ना अब सबके लिए मलाई की जरूरत है, मलाई कहां मिल रहा भाई, यही तो प्रॉब्लम है ना। अब एक काम तुम कर सकते क्या है, इन दोनों को झगड़ते रहने दो, एक दूसरे को मारेगा, उससे उसका दूसरा इसको तीर चलाएगा, इन्हें जाके उसको छुरी चलाएगा, कुछ भी है, ये दोनों एक से एक लड़ते रहेंगे। खामोशी से जाके फैमिली को बोल दो देखो मेरा बेटा तैयार है, इसको सीएम बनाओ, कोई गड़बड़ नहीं है, पूरे लोग मेरे साथ आएंगे, बोल के तो देखो जाने वाला क्या है ना।
Sir, you put it in a very, I would say you've got the whole thing. I mean, you've said everything. Sir, but what has happened is, I think what has heightened suspicion about DK Shivkumar's plans is landing up at Isha Foundation
Yes.
for the
We have that video.
Mahashivratri
Yeah.
on a day when Home Minister Amit Shah was there. And we have unconfirmed reports that they got an opportunity for 15 minutes for themselves, one-to-one. Was anything discussed? Then after that, Karnataka BJP went on overdrive saying DKS is the next 𝗥𝗘𝗙𝗥𝗏. The former 𝗥𝗘𝗙𝗥𝗏 himself tweeted that.
Let's look at that. Yeah.
So, and then, I mean, there has been a lot of buzz about this. Sir.
Yeah.
ನನ್ನ ಮನೆಗೆ ಬಂದು ಇನ್ವೈಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು, ಅವ್ರು ನಮ್ಮ ಮೈಸೂರವರು. ಇಸ್ ಎ ಗ್ರೇಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾನ್ ವಿಚ್ ಐ ಅಡ್ಮೈರ್ ಹಿಸ್ ನಾಲೆಜ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಹಿಸ್ ಫಾಲೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟೇಚರ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಆಲ್. ಅವ್ರಿಗೂ ಬೇಕಾದಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಕಲ್ಲು ಹೊಡೆಯವರು ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಟೀಕೆ ಮಾಡೋರು, ಟಿಪ್ಪಣಿ ಮಾಡೋರು. ಪಾಪ he came all the way from this one. He waited for.
He's talking about Sadhguru.
To meet his family. Then he came here. Last time ನನ್ನ ಮಗಳು ಹೋಗಿದ್ಲಂತೆ, ಈ ಸತಿ ನನ್ನ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ ಬಂದು ಕರೆದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಈಗ ನಾನು ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ನಾನು ಕೆಲವರು ಆಲೇ ಸೋಷಿಯಲ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಾಲೆಲ್ಲ ಐ ಆಮ್ ವೆರಿ ಗೆಟಿಂಗ್ ಕ್ಲೋಸರ್ ಟು ಇದು ನಾಟ್ ಅಮಿತ್ ಶಾ ಟು ದಿ ಬಿಜೆಪಿ ಅಂತ ಬರೀತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಪಾಪ ಇನ್ನ ನಾನು ಅಮಿತ್ ಶಾನ್ ಭೇಟಿ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ. ಮಹಾಕುಂಭ ಮೇಳ. ಐ ಆಮ್ ಎ ಹಿಂದೂ, ಐ ಆಮ್ ಎ ಬಾರ್ನ್ ಹಿಂದೂ, ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಡೈ ಆಸ್ ಎ ಹಿಂದೂ. But I love all religion. I respect all religion. I love whichever religion. When I was in jail, I have learned about Sikhism. How Sikhism was being formed, how that is ಒಬ್ರು ಕೇಳಿ ಪಾಠ ಆಡಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ ನಾನು ಜೈಲಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಾಗೆ. ಸೊ ಜೈನ್ ಅವ್ರದ್ದೇ ಆದಂಥ ಒಂದು ತತ್ವ. ನಾನು ಜೈನ್ ಮನೆ ಮಠಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದೆ. ಅವ್ರ ಫಿಲಾಸಫಿನೇ ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಒಂಥರ ಭಾಳ ಕಠಿಣವಾದಂಥ ಫಿಲಾಸಫಿ. ಐ ಲೈಕ್ ದೇರ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್. ತಪ್ಪೇನಿದೆ ಅವ್ರವ್ರದ್ದು, ಅವರು ಆಶೀರ್ವಾದ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ನನಗೆ. ಏನು ಮಾಡೋಣ, ಅವ್ನ ಬಾಯಿನ ಬಿಗಾಕಾಗ್ತದ, ನಾನೇನು ಮಾಡಬೇಡ ಮಾತಾಡಬೇಡ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ದರ್ಗಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ತೀನಿ, ಅವ್ರೇನೋ ಒಂದು ಆಶೀರ್ವಾದ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಚರ್ಚ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತೀನಿ. ಈಗ ಮೊನ್ನೆ ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಮದುವೆಗೆ ಹೋಗಿದೆ, ಅವರು ಇಲ್ಲ ನಾನು ಚರ್ಚ್ಗೆ ಬರಬೇಕು, ನೀನು ಪ್ರೇ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ.
He says he meets various but leaders, religious leaders. They all shower blessings on him.
ಅವ್ರ ಪಾಪ ಮನೆ ಮದುವೆ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಅವ್ರು ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನಾನು ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡೋಗಿ ಚರ್ಚ್ಗೆ ಪ್ರೇ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. See, all community loves me. They respect me.
So today is the last day of Mahakumbh, sir. You went there. What was your experience?
See, my experience was very good. Number one, I appreciated the organization which they had done. It is not small job. Whatever may be, ಅಷ್ಟು ಜನಕ್ಕೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಕೆಲವು ಒಂದು ಎರಡು ತೊಂದರೆಗಳು ಆಗ್ಬೋದು, ಟ್ರೈನ್ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ತೊಂದರೆ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು, ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು. ನಾನು ಅದೆಲ್ಲ I don't like to find faults, but it is satisfaction, one satisfaction. ಈ ಭಕ್ತಂಗೂ ಭಗವಂತ ಕೆಲವರು ನೇರವಾಗಿ ಪ್ರೇ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಕೆಲವರು ಪೂಜಾರಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. 𝗟𝗘𝗙𝗥𝗏 ಪ್ರಭಾವೇನ 𝗚𝗢𝗏𝗏 ಶಂಕರ. ಅರ್ಚಕನ ಪ್ರಭಾವದಿಂದ ಶಿಲೆಯಲ್ಲೂ ಶಂಕರನ ಕಾಣುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಮಧ್ಯ ದೇವರಾಗಿ ಜ್ಞಾನನೇ ಅವರೇ ಪೂಜೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಕೆಲವರು ಪೂಜಾರಿ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ.
The first objection was taken by AICC Secretary P.V. Mohan, who is believed to belong to, who is seen to be part of the 𝗔𝙗𝗍𝗍 camp, who publicly questions D.K. Shivakumar being present in Isha Yoga Mayam in the company of Amit Shah, saying that this is against Amit Shah is a person who has insulted our leader, and even Sadhguru has insulted Rahul Gandhi. How can he go to his... Then I tried to find out what did Sadhguru say about Rahul Gandhi. All he said was, I just found out in one of his was, look, I know what 𝗟𝗜𝗡𝗞𝗦 stands for, because sometimes he talks about he's being against corruption. About Rahul Gandhi, what he stands for, what he's fighting for, I don't understand. I don't know. That's all. But that was taken as an inferred dig on Rahul Gandhi by P.V. Mohan, 𝗔𝗍𝗍𝗍 people. So how can you be with him? But sir, the buzz is increased. And nobody wants to believe that it was just, two leaders coincidentally happened to be there at that place and spent a night, that too a Mahashivratri night, watching the cultural, and finally participated in the midnight meditation, midnight sadhana, doing Om Namah Shivaya, straight at the stroke of midnight. People feel that they got time. Now, we do not know whether it was a courtesy meeting or whatever. And but this is a set of base. This is one thing. Now we are told that I think it has been conveyed through some people. Look, DKS, you should not be doing this. This is one. The other is the Shashi Tharoor case. The Shashi Tharoor, he first wrote that piece we discussed last time. He wrote an English article saying how Kerala has become a good place for startups, for investment, which was immediately seen as, praising Pinarayi Vijayan's government when the elections are happening this time. So there was a lot of protest. And subsequent to that, he gave an interview, rather it was a podcast, with a reporter which was in Malayalam. And he was asked, how he had come. And he was saying, look, I came in because Sonia Gandhi and I want to do for Kerala. And I just want, if there are so many, politics is not the only option for me. There are other options. Now, Tharoor says that got interpreted as that I have got other options. I meant was other options included politics and other things. That was seen as whether he is, having some political plans. But then, Tharoor is also a very clever person with words. He wouldn't have said all those with intent. And finally, all the leaders were called yesterday, sir. That is Friday. And they were called to Delhi. All the Kerala Congress leaders came there. And then the riot act was read out to them. Look, you can't be writing art. And that is basically directed at Tharoor, that you can't write articles, you can't make pronouncements, which is not our official line. And Deepa Das Munshi is the Congress functionary in charge of Kerala. And in the company of Tharoor and other Kerala Congress, she conveyed it to the media. That meeting was chaired by Mallikarjun Kharge. It was attended by Rahul Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi, and everybody. I think Sachin can provide us a video glimpse of it.
Today we had a meeting with our Honorable Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge ji, our Lok Sabha opposition leader Rahul ji, our GSO 𝗟𝗡𝗙 Venugopal ji, Priyanka ji, and all other MPs and senior leaders of Congress party, our PCC President, CLP leader and working committee member on Kerala coming election. First, there is a local body election and followed by the assembly election. How should we go in that election? What will be our strategy? What will be our roadmap? All the members have spoken, and we got a clear indication from our High Command that Congress is very much connected with the public, with the people of Kerala. Emotionally, politically, people are looking for a change.
Tharoor looks bemused.
So we should not do anything.
I was about to say
which will
that.
Disrespect the people of Kerala. This was a clear indication, and if anything, anyone personally, his or her view is coming to the media, we will take strong action on that, because we have no right to disrespect the people of Kerala. Secondly, there were many programs which is coming in the next few months that has been discussed, and in the month of April, there will be a ward president conference, state conference, where Kharge ji, Rahul ji, Priyanka ji all will attend. That will be the starting boost up for the workers of Kerala Congress. There are many programs which is coming. Gradually we will tell all of you, but immediately this program has come up, and also media is giving a wrong impression that there is no unity in Congress, Kerala Congress Party, which is untrue. There are everywhere, everyone here in the media had said, expressed, they are strongly against LDF, they are strongly against BJP, and when the unity is coming, so they are strongly united and they will speak in univocal voice. Thank you very much.
Sir, the old adage I often say, do not believe anything until it is denied, applies to this situation. And as you said, all other Congress leaders looked very serious, including Ramesh Chanitala, 𝗟𝗙𝗏 𝗍𝗘𝗏 and others. But as you said, Shashi Tharoor's, there was I think he was trying to smile, but I think he decided he better appear serious.
That look says it all. Thank you so much, sir. Maybe we can take a few questions. We're already an hour and 7 minutes into our discussion today. Just a few questions, if you don't mind, sir. Viewers, we are sorry to disappoint you today. It's been a very, very busy session, and we are not able to give you all our, answer all your questions. Krishna Kishore, thank you so much for becoming YouTube member. Sandhya Tignal, thank you for your super sticker. Rohit Akshay, thank you so much. Is Putin meditating or mediating between Trump and Zelensky?
So this is what I mentioned. Is Putin mediating, or Putin has offered to? I mean, this only shows the Zelensky-Trump, standoff in Oval Office, and how some of our bright social media participants are looking at this kind of events that has been unraveled.
Next one, please. Mangat Ranga wants to know, Namaskaram, the way things are going on between US, Russia and Europe, will it be surprising if US starts supporting Russia against Ukraine? No.
Well, I don't think that will happen. I mean, it is not that US wants to wash off its hand Ukraine. Well, it wants to, rather what it wants is the war must end, and the next, sir, after every war, there is reconstruction business. That business must not be delayed further, and people of Ukraine have suffered. So as people in those parts of Russia where they have also suffered. Though we don't get to see much of what has happened on the Russian side. The damages inflicted by Ukraine, which got additional muscles after Western pumping of military hardware. But definitely there has been a lot of and this is the war Putin realized long ago when his generals told him this is not the war he can win. This is not a war anybody is going to win.
Rohit Akshay wants to know, IP Singh from the Samajwadi Party has openly remarked that no one considers Rahul Gandhi a genuine politician. Isn't it about time we had a strong opposition leader, perhaps someone like Akhilesh or Momta?
In fact, IP Singh has publicly given a statement that Akhilesh Yadav should become the leader of the opposition. To which the Congress has reacted, saying that Rahul Gandhi has not become leader out of any opposition. Opposition has not done a favor to him. Because the Congress party won 99 seats in the last Lok Sabha elections, so they have won that seat by people's support. But sir, the whole reaction to this has come from Ram Gopal Yadav, who is a cousin of Mulayam Singh Yadav and uncle of Akhilesh. He says, I am not going to comment on what idiots, probably he's referring to his own party leader like IP Singh, who are coming up. But they are reflecting the sentiments within the Samajwadi Party. That is no doubt, sir. This is a sentiment in Trinamool Congress, in all the anti-BJP parties. They all feel that, we are not able to do what we have to do because of the situation in the Congress and Rahul Gandhi's leadership. There is no two thoughts about it.
Sajendran Nambiar wants to know, what, according to you, are the options for Zelensky now? With the way EU countries have extended support to Ukraine, can they go ahead with war without the US?
Well, I think, sir, Zelensky's options are limited. I think he's already signaled that he would return to negotiations with Trump, sign the mineral deal. He has already said it today. And European countries may, give moral support and all that. But ultimately, it comes down to, finding the funds and resources. And I don't think Europe is in that shape of economy where they can do anything independently. And for what? I think one is ultimately going to see that Europe will expect, Trump to be more committed to the security of Ukraine, even as a peace deal is pursued, which is what Zelensky's original idea was, that give us some guarantee. And that guarantee, whether he wants US troops on Ukrainian soil or something like that, some formula is being talked of. But I don't think Europe, sir, of course, European leaders are very upset with Trump. I mean, these pronouncements, he had commented on the German elections. He has been commenting on even their domestic politics. That they are not very happy, but at the same time, they realized they have to do business with this new America under Trump. Sir.
So this is the Shinde question, sir. I'll let you answer it. Can we expect a CM change in Karnataka? Is Congress planning to install Kharge as CM and replacing him with Priyanka as party president? Can this trigger DKS and will he be on another Shinde?
You wanted to answer it, sir?
No, you, sir. It's for you.
Okay.
Sir.
Okay, yeah. No, I don't think anything will happen before November. But this is the danger. The supporters and loyalists of Siddaramaiah made it clear. If you have to allow Siddaramaiah to complete 5 years. They are not willing to, and Siddaramaiah, since he is not an original congressman. And also, sir, if Kharge, and with Priyank Kharge, sir, Priyank Kharge also has been making lot of anti-Sanatana statements. He has been saying it, and his father has been echoing that. So, a lot of things are happening that then, one thing is clear, sir, Siddaramaiah he will not step down himself. Number one. Number two, he will not let even Priyank Kharge to take over. Because after all, Mallikarjun Kharge is also part of the old loyalists. Mallikarjun Kharge doesn't have great equations with Siddaramaiah. But the tailpiece of this episode was DK Shivakumar and Mallikarjun Kharge were seen as quite close because they had a common rival in Siddaramaiah. But with this Mahakumbh and comments made by Mallikarjun and Kharge and others, DK Shivakumar chose to remind Mallikarjun Kharge that in your name itself there is Mallikarjun, Lord Shiva is there. Which means if you are making such pronouncement, so what, should you change your name? That kind of suggestion. Sir.
Mallikarjun is the name of the deity of Murti of Shiva in Sri Salem. Shankar VK wants to know, Shekharji, how is the recent EU-India trade deal going to play out if the Ukraine conflict continues?
Well, I think India is hoping that the conflict would come to an end in the next few months, at least. If this deal had gone through, it could have been had even more, maybe 10 days or so. But definitely, the trade deal part is that we want European Union to pay attention to Indo-Pacific region, because we want to. That was one of the important point that was discussed when the EU Union President and Modi met a day ago, that EU should also look at the security concerns of the Indo-Pacific, just as they are concerned about Ukraine. That is particularly the role of China in this region from a security point of view, because it affects the trade in this region. So definitely something is in card, and they hope to sign an agreement. Sir, India has to sign a trade agreement with UK. That is pending. And it has also have to do as a sign agreement with Trump also. A new deal is being worked out. So the trade is getting a lot of focus now, sir.
Krishnamurti Hunagundji says, you are fired, is what Trump said to Zelensky.
No, he hasn't put it that way, but he has said, you come here when you are, when you are ready for peace.
Krishna Kishore wants to say, Zelensky called VP Vance Suka Balyd in the meeting. Why media does not talk about this? Entire thing seems like toolkit, just like farmers' protest. Please analyze.
Sir, what when Vance said, we heard it. So whether Zelensky came prepared for all this, but it does surprise all of us, as I said, that normally visiting leaders, whether they visit White House or here, the media interaction is almost limited and is always after the talks have concluded. But here we saw probably they wanted to have something just before the talk started. Then perhaps they would have had one more once the deal had been signed. But somehow things went haywire because I think Zelensky got too emotional and he waded into the Trump-Biden issues or rivalry.
Next one, please. Sumita Rao wants to know, this is the first time one sees Trump trying to talk to Zelensky like a grandfather, trying to be patient to make him understand and move ahead, and JD Vance included to explain to him.
Yeah, I did think that President Trump was very courteous to him and kept up to him as President Zelensky. But I think at the end, when probably he did not expect Zelensky to publicly, keep repeating things which he would have already conveyed in private. That, look, give us some security guarantee, have some security plan, which will allow, say, stationing of US troops or something. If not full-fledged NATO. Sir.
Muthukumar Sundaram wants to know, PGurus, all said and done, can't we Bharat develop and sustain our society and economy with whatever we have? This implies keeping minimal or essential level of external interaction.
Well, sir, these are not days of closed door economy. These are, it's an interdependent world. There is always an impact and everything is happening global. You can see the bloodbath in the same sex. Some people attribute it to what is developments in the US, some people attribute to Trump. So there is no way you can insulate yourself. Even China is not able to insulate itself. And whatever is happening to Chinese economy is also affecting the rest of the world.
Right.
So I don't think this is a scenario where you can, you can see Myanmar. Look, Myanmar is supposed to be a very close society.
Manoj Soma wants to know, sir, can BJP help clean Ma Yamuna like they did with Ganga? Hope BJP will succeed, sir. Har Har Mahadev. Why, sir, BJP is lacking in communication? BJP needs another Sushma Swaraj. Your views?
No, I think Prime Minister himself is said to be a good communicator. So there has been, it's not question of lack of communicators. They have good leaders who can articulate the party's views. But there are times when the party leadership is not in a position to clarify a lot of things immediately. Well, it's an ongoing process. We are seeing new people being brought to put forth the party's points. Sir.
Thank you so much, Shekhar-ji. Went 20 minutes past the limit. Thank you so much once again for being patient and answering. We tried our best to answer your questions, viewers. Please excuse us if we missed your question. Please send by way of comments what you thought of this program and content. Sir, Shekhar-ji, we'll be seeing you again on Wednesday. Namaskar.
Namaskar. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.